Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his newest weekly guest, Mr. Adrian Hernandez. How you doing, sir?
Let's go. I'm ready for today's call. Let's get this thing going.
There you go. Round three, as some of my guests say. So in this conversation, I just want to have you an honest kind of back and forth, you go, I go, you go, I go kind of story about what people get wrong about real estate investing. So I'll let the guest or yourself go first. Where do you want to go?
prior to me thinking about this, I thought in my mind absolutely everything that's involved, right?
The whole thing. It's all wrong.
No, but I want to say the biggest thing that we get wrong is the time that it takes to get to where we want to go. I think we get the timing wrong. I think some of us think that it's an overnight thing. We see these people on social media and we think, oh, I can get there tomorrow. And we set these lofty real estate investing goals right off the jump for the first 12 months, and we don't hit them only to beat ourselves up when that 12-month mark comes.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's kind of in the same lines as I hear so many people say, I want 50, 100, 1,000. I've even heard 10,000 units. And I'm like, okay, great. I don't have that many. Tell me more, right? And they're like, how many do you have today? 0. Okay, that's a great goal. I get it. Reach for the stars and the moon and all that stuff. But I think most people don't understand that life changes when you get to 4 or 5 or 10. Life changes, right? You get some freedom. If you only ever get 4, let's say you're 30 years old, you spend the next 4 years, you get 1 a year rental property, cash flows, no problems, all of that. When you're 60, you have 4 free, at least, because you may have your primary too. You have at least 4 properties free and clear that others paid for. And what do you think rents? Quadruple what they are today in 30 years, right? All of that is cash flow, right? So I think most people come into this game just with too big of goals because they heard some social media guru who probably has 1/10 of what they say they have. And it's just, yeah, I want people to say 4. My big deal is let's talk about 4, right? Go to 0 to 4. Then we'll talk about 10 after that. That's where I start.
Same thing with money too. You see, well, I want to make $1 billion. Do you know how much $1 billion is? Can you fathom? I guarantee you, if you just put 10 million, you would never think about $1 billion. Yeah. If you got to 1 million, most people wouldn't even, right? So let's somewhere.
Yeah, so I like that. All right, so that's my first. What do you got for number 2? We'll do 3 of these each.
I think the biggest thing that I also see, and I'm going to talk about when you're looking at flips or when you're looking at using your own cash to buy a property, I think we undervalue the amount of money that we actually get that project started, especially in flipping. I see so many flippers, they set a budget of $45,000 for their rehab. And that 45,000 is like all they have.
Yeah, they're
and
done.
They go put this 45K in, only to realize there's not a single deal that doesn't hit budget in my experience.
Yeah, no,
like at least a couple. I mean, right? I mean, how many deals that you've had that gone over budget?
I am happy to be within 10% of my first number. I'm happy, and it's always over. It's always over.
So we think I got this 45. It's all I got. We throw it out there only to realize, oh, shoot, I'm now keeping the property 2 months after, and I don't have the hard money payments. I'm now 2 months behind on construction. Now I have to catch up there. And then we start to see a problem. Yeah. And it's the same when we go to buy our first units. I've known friends who went and they saved an X amount of money. They bought these units, and then unfortunate, right? Something occurred, and we're not saying this always happens, but it does. And now they're in a bind. So I don't want this to enable us to go do anything. The reason why I'm saying this is for us to just budget a little bit more. Budget a little bit more, and it's way better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. So my number 2 is, I can't tell you how many people, when I ask or press on a deal or what they're looking at, they get enamored with cheap, like a SoCal investor, right? Oh, I'm going to go to Ohio because it's cheap. Oh, I'm going to go get $1,000 house in Detroit, or I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I have met so many people that did that. And I'll say it this way. You can go broke very fast buying cheap. And second, you know how arrogant it is for a California investor to go, I can't tell you how many times I've had this happen, Adrian. Oh, I found this deal in Ohio. And I don't know why I pick on Ohio. It could be Tennessee. It could be any other state, Midwest. And I go, great. Tell me about it. Well, it's been on the market 90 days and I'm going to buy it for list price. I'm like, what? First off, you don't think that every investor in that local town has already kicked that rock 100 times? You're going to come from California and buy it at list price and think it's a deal? I mean, the arrogance in the here, and it's always because it's cheap. You know how many times I've heard I can buy a house for less than it costs to buy my car? Does that make it a good deal? I don't understand. I mean, just because it's cheaper than your car, it's a good deal. Maybe that says more about your car than the house. I don't know, but it's yeah, for whatever reason, cheap people get enamored with cheap. That doesn't mean a good return. It doesn't mean profit. It's just cheap is not a reason to buy real estate.
I remember when I saw a property in Phoenix, Arizona 2 years ago for $50,000. And I started to hear about this out of state stuff. And I'm like, this is cheap. It's 50 grand. Let's buy it. Hey, do you want to see it? I looked at photos. We're good. Buy it.
Oh no.
I showed up. There's no foundation. The whole thing needs to be ripped down. It needs to be connected to the sewer. Long story short, guys, cheap costed me a negative 100 grand.
Yeah.
So be careful. Cheap also, we wanted to buy multi-units and we're like, well, why are we going to put 400K down when we can just go buy something in Ohio? And it was Ohio. I have a video of us flying out there.
Oh no.
And we go to Ohio and we start making these offers on these buildings. We get one accepted. We're in escrow. They want our deposit. And I just got this inkling, like, you know what? We need to go see this thing.
Oh, shit.
Thankfully, we're in Ohio. We get there. The building is marked condemned.
Oh.
And they were trying to push us to put our deposit and close within a week.
Yeah, go hard. Yeah.
Go cheap, they said.
Oh, I love folks. You can lose your butt buying cheap.
Had I bought that, Michael, and they tore that thing down, dude.
Done.
It's one of those deals that can really, really derail you guys.
That could have wrecked you for years.
So
all right. Number 3.
So good. It was so good. I think the other big thing that most real estate investors, and this is more of a mindset thing.
Okay.
I think that we go into this thinking that we don't need to ever work on our mind, work on ourselves. We think that it's all business related and it's never mental related.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that own a lot of units, and if something ever changed, I can't say that they will be okay. Yeah. I can't say that mentally they're going to be able to deal with them losing 2 or 3 of those, or even 4 of those. And so for all of us, work hard, work just as hard that you do on your business, work that hard on yourself also. Yeah. Take some time to work on the mind, because when things don't go right, we had to talk about failures. When you have failures, if the mind is not strong, it will completely take you out of the game. So I think there's not enough investors. There's not enough, especially the younger crowd. There's not enough people working on themselves. It used to be a fad like a year or two ago. And now I'm noticing it's no longer a fad. If anything, it's like, why are you doing that? You're kind of like, it's now reverting back to what it used to be.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole cycles, right? We saw a lot of this as we were kind of peaking in 06, 07. Real estate only goes up. Record number of new agents, all of this stuff. It's like, we don't need to do any of that. And those people were gone in a heartbeat. Once there was a fart in the wind, they were done. And we're going to do that again. So my third and closing one is, people don't appreciate the simplicity of what I teach. And that is, it's really about focus and daily discipline. Focus, get yourself a buy box, make it as tight as possible. And then second, look at it every day. I ask for 20 minutes a day. I do not ask for 4 hours on Saturday. You don't get a 6-pack ab by eating crap for 6 days and then going to the gym for 4 hours. It's not how this works. I will beat you every single time with 20 minutes a day. It is not about being in 17 markets. It's about being in one. It's not about being in 5 different asset classes. It's about being in one. Do the work, focus, and daily discipline. It's step 1 and step 2 in my course. People want to fight it. They want to push it. They want to make it too freaking hard. And it's just focus and daily discipline.
That's probably the biggest one out of the entire call. That's the mic drop right there.
Well, with that, folks, Adrian, how can people follow you, get part of your world?
Yeah, guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Adrian Hernandez and on YouTube, Adrian Hernandez as well.
And he will be our Wednesday guest going forward. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.